Hi, Bill here from albertaeviction.com, and in this video I just want to address a couple of the myths about the eviction process here in Alberta. Are you ready? Okay, let's get started with myth number one. Alright, myth number one with the eviction process in Alberta is that you have to give a tenant a 14-day eviction notice. This is not necessary. Now, some people still tell you that they have to have an eviction notice to make it official, but it's really not necessary. If you have a problem tenant and it's a fairly serious issue, you can go directly to the RTDRS or the courts and file for an eviction. Now, you do have to make sure that it's a real eviction or a real eviction type scenario. This would be more along the lines of multiple issues with late rent, and you have all the evidence in place so that you can just go directly to court. The myth is, if it's a serious situation, if you've got a real issue with a tenant, go ahead and file directly with the RTDRS or the courts. Now, a little note, we are in the summer of 2017. Due to the economic situations going on, there's a backlog. So at last check, it was about a 4-week backlog for both Edmonton and Calgary for an RTDRS hearing. So this makes it even more important to avoid using a 14-day eviction notice, because it's essentially going to push you back another couple of weeks before you can start filing and getting a hearing set up. Let's get on to myth two. Myth two is that evictions are very hard to do and it's very heavily slanted towards the tenants. This isn't actually true. It's more of an issue that landlords just simply aren't familiar with the process. If you understand how the process works and how to prepare and get everything set up, the eviction process works fairly smoothly here in Alberta. It is pretty fair on both parties, and it works out quite well, especially in the case of, let's say late rent, which seems to be the predominant issue with a lot of the tenant evictions these days, and typically all the time. Late rent seems to be the biggest issue, and repeatedly late rent is a big issue. And that leads me to a little bit of information about being prepared for this. So over the years, we've done a lot of evictions. I've had a lot of tenants over the years, in excess of 1,500 tenants since I started doing this. And because I've had so many tenants, I'm very familiar with the eviction process and everything that's required to go through it. And that's why I put my eviction guide together. I have an eviction guide available on the website that will walk you through all the steps you need to know to make sure your eviction not just sticks, but you're able to get your tenant out in a timely manner. And if you're a landlord and you are going through your first eviction, I really have to caution you, you want to make sure you do everything right. If you do things wrong, you could get your hearing thrown out. You could find that the hearing officer or the courts find in favor of your tenant, and now you're stuck with the problem even longer. So don't let this happen to you. If you're going through your first eviction, spend a few dollars, make sure you get this done right. My eviction guide is fairly cost effective, and it'll walk you through all the steps. So it is available on the site here. You should be able to find it quite easily. If not, send me a message. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful and gave you a couple more bits of information about the eviction process here in Alberta. Thanks.